get the control.
Right. Yep. Seems about right. Yep. Okay, hi everyone. So you're probably wondering why everybody's running around here with all these strange t-shirts, right? So this is because there's a new social media platform that is well on its way to change the world. And that is because it's going to pay you in a new world currency. So this new world currency is obviously a cryptocurrency. Unlike Bitcoin, this is one of the new cryptocurrencies and it's based on a new technology and is much, much more powerful than Bitcoin, which could be seen as blockchain 1.0. This is blockchain 3.0, right? So basically, what is it, right? In its essence, it's a social media platform that is comparable to Reddit. So it's currently in a beta phase, but it's slowly getting more traction across the world. So it's got a lot of similarities with Reddit, as in people can vote, can actually post almost like a blog, and then other users can vote for that content. If they like it, they can vote for it. If they don't like it, they don't vote for it, right? Same as Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrencies, it's based on a decentralized database. So there's no servers, there's nothing. Everybody, so it's decentralized just like Bitcoin. Everybody owns their own little piece, right? So, like I said, it's a reward system in there based through cryptocurrency. So basically, this is a social media platform that's going to pay you to put content on there. Okay? And the rest is similar as you just heard from blockchain. So decentralized is getting a lot of traction across the world. And the main thing to remember is that it's going to pay you. So this is how currently the front page looks, right? So you can see it's still in beta. These are just posts that people made. On the right here, we can see all the categories and the tags that are currently trending. So posts that do well in the category, these categories will go up if the posts in there are successful, right? What the cool part is about this, these are these little monetary values that right here, right? What? So, for example, this post was made 17 hours ago, and it says it's almost $2,700. Now, this is actually, this user is going to get paid this amount of money just for posting this content on the platform. I'm going to explain later how you can actually get these rewards yourself. The thing to remember now is just it's a social media platform that's going to pay you in their own currency. So it might says dollar here. Actually, it's going to be it's a token similar to Bitcoin. Okay, I'll explain how it actually works and how it can actually show this in dollar. Because normally you would think it's going to show this in their own currency. It would say this much Bitcoin or this much whatever, right? This shows dollar. And that is the cool part about Steemit. They managed to create, or they tried to create, a stable currency, a stable cryptocurrency. I'll show you how that works. So I'm going to talk about the currency itself first, right? It consists of three things. First of all, we have Steem, okay? That's the actual token that gets created. Then you have Steem Power, and there's a Steem Dollar. So it's a cryptocurrency based in three different parts, right? And that's one of the most ingenious systems I've ever seen in crypto, and I've been around crypto since, well, I missed the Bitcoin boat, but I didn't miss all the rest of them. So I've been in there for 5 years normally. I'll start off with what Steem is, okay? Steem is comparable to gold. That's how I like to make it simple analogy so everybody can understand. This is the actual crypto token that gets created by the miners, same as with Bitcoin. So miners are just ordinary people who put their computers to work, just like Peter explained, to create a system, to create a Steem, and they process the data and ensure that the system works and is not being cheated. So you can compare this with gold. Why? Because gold has a certain value in this world, right? The value shifts according to the market supplies of the market laws of supply and demand, obviously. But it's actually a very stable currency. Gold is one of the most stable currencies in the world. So let's compare this to make it simple. Let's compare Steem to gold, right? So the creators of Steem, they opened up the gold mine, and the miners just started working on it, and they're making steam or gold. And this supplies a fresh amount of steam every day in the system. This is actually how the money gets created. Okay? Now, the cool thing about Steem, unlike Bitcoin and some other currencies, is there's no transaction fees. You can actually send money. You can send $1 million to somebody else. There's going to be no fee whatsoever. It's free. You can send money for free across users, across the world, across geographical borders. It doesn't matter, right? Now, one of the big things about Steem is it grows at a rate of 100% each year. So it doubles the amount of money in the system every single year. Obviously, this creates a huge inflation rate, right? Now, they managed to combat this, and I'll tell you how they did it later. One of the other things with Steem is you can send this to an exchange, you can exchange this for money. So it can be freely sold across exchanges. There's even an internal exchange in the social media platform where you can also sell this. Okay? So the things about Steem is to remember you can compare it to gold. It has a 100% inflation rate, and it can be sent without transactions and freely sold without any boundaries. Okay? Now this is the cool part, the Steem Dollar, right? You can actually compare this to actual dollar notes from the Federal Reserve. Because, like Peter said as well, in the past the dollar was pegged to the gold, right? They abandoned the gold standard a long time ago. But in the past, that is how money was created, right? It's just a token of value, so you don't have to carry blocks of gold around, right? That makes sense. Well, Steem Dollar is exactly the same thing. So we compare Steem with gold. Steem Dollar is basically a promissory note that tells you, okay, for this $1, you're gonna get this amount of steam according to the market value at that time. Okay? So this is how they try to create a stable currency with a cryptocurrency, which has really never been done before. So you can always exchange your dollar for gold at a fixed rate. You can always exchange your Steem Dollar for Steem at a rate that, well, it's not fixed. It depends on the market law, on the market at that moment, how much Steem is worth. Okay? So the Steem Dollar promises an amount of Steem or gold that's comparable to $1. Right? Some characteristics of Steem is the same as of Steem Dollar is the same as Steem, right? So it can be sold freely on internal or third-party exchanges. You can send this over to an exchange and get Bitcoin out of it, right? Now, if you keep it in your account, if you just, for example, you keep 1,000 Steem Dollar in your account, you'll get 10% interest on that, just by doing nothing, right? And there's also no transfer fees. And so this is the cool part. So no matter what the exchange rate of Steem is going to be, one Steem Dollar will always be equal to one actual US dollar. This is approximately. There are some small changes, but normally one Steem Dollar should be equal to one US dollar, right? So let me give you a quick example. So for example, right, if one Steem Dollar is one US dollar and you have 100 Steem Dollars in your account, you will get 100 Steem. If Steem goes up to $10, then you will only get 10 Steem for that same 100 Steem Dollar, right? But it's going to still be worth the same amount of money. This is just like gold would be, right? So then we also have Steem Power. That's the third bit of the ingenious system. This is where it gets really interesting. Steem Power can be seen as shares in the company, right? So the more shares you have in a company, if you're a shareholder in a company, that means you have a lot of weight in the company. You can vote for how the company will make decisions and everything, right? This is exactly the same with Steem. So the people who have a lot of Steem Power, they are able to influence the rewards of the system. And I'm talking about like people who have millions invested in there. They can actually, how should I explain this? So they the reward system that gets paid out, they can choose who gets the biggest rewards because they have the most shares in the company or power in Steem. Okay? So I'll explain later how the reward system works. I'm just trying to, so you can wrap your head around how these three different currencies work together to create a stable currency. So Steem Power, this cannot be traded or sent to other users, unlike Steem or Steem Dollar. Now you can buy Steem at all times. Steem Power, sorry. You can buy Steem at all times, with even with Bitcoin. You can just send Bitcoin to an address, and you will get Steem Power. This process is called powering up, right? And you can convert Steem to Steem Power as well. So you can actually spend your gold, right, the Steem, for shares in the system. Now, so the Steem Power actually, it gets fixed. Once you buy Steem Power, just like you would be a shareholder, you can't just cash out, right? You can actually take it out, and once you do that, it's called powering down. It's going to take 2 years, and you'll get a weekly payment of your Steem Power in actual Steem dollars. So it's going to take 2 years or 104 weekly payments to get your money out once you have Steem Power. Now, what is the... So this makes Steem Power basically long-term investors in the company. You could see Steem dollars with the 10% interest rate. Those could be seen as short-time investors, right? That's short-term investors, and the Steem Power is for people who believe in the system. They put their money in, can't be taken out for 2 years. So this is a long-term investor. What does this mean, basically? That the people who own the power, it's in their best interest to make this a success, because their money is invested and they can't be taken out right away. So the big holders of the Steem Power, they do everything possible to make it a success, because that's when they will get their investment back. Okay? And everyone has the potential to become an investor. You just pay money and you're an investor. If you pay millions and millions of dollars, you might be the biggest shareholder in the company. It's as simple as that. So what is the biggest advantage, though, of holding the Steem Power? Well, it combats this huge inflation rate that Steem has, like the 100% inflation rate. Well, so this 100% inflation rate, actually, 90% of all the Steem that gets created every single day, 90% of it actually gets transferred into Steem Power and distributed among the shareholders. So if you own a lot of power, it means you won't have the 100% inflation rate. You'll only have a 10% inflation rate, right? So this makes it very interesting to hold the Steem Power. And Steem is almost worthless, because if you hold that after a year, it will normally you'll only have half the value left. So that's why people should power up to the Steem Power, because then you'll get 90% of it back. Okay? So from that 100% that gets created, only 10% that's left, that's 10% that gets divided for the rewarding system. So miners, witnesses, people who post, who make comments, who upvote, only 10% of all Steem that gets created is meant for that. Like 90% is for the shareholders. So that's why it's very, very, very interesting to own Steem Power, right? So I know I might have lost a few people on the way already, but let me try to make it easier. So Steem doubles every year. Sounds really, really bad, right? 10% goes to the people who actually post on the system and who are active on the system, and 90% is back for the shareholders. Yeah? So everybody is basically incentivized. It's an incentive to buy Steem Power, right? That's everybody. That's how they try to create it a long-lasting system, because of this. Because nobody wants 100% inflation rate, right? So you put it in Steem Power and you won't have that inflation rate. And the Steem gets created at around 800 Steem per minute. That's a whole lot of Steem. And it gets created by these miners, just as Peter was telling. It's exactly the same thing. And the mining is also in this 10%. So unlike Bitcoin, where they get everything, Here, only 10% of it goes to the miner. It goes to rewarding system, the rewarding system that's inherent in the system. So as you can see, there's still going to be a lot of inflation on your Steem Power. It's going to be 10%. But actually, if you are active in the system and you make posts, you will get rewarded as well. And that's how you will make way more than the 10% that you're losing if you do that, right? So this gives you another incentive to remain active on the platform, so you can claim a share of those rewards back, right? And that's how it becomes a self-sustaining system. Now, the Steemit rewards, right? So Steem rewards you for participating in discussions, creating new posts, holding money in the short term, that's a 10% interest rate on Steem Dollar, or in the long term, with a 90% that gets distributed amongst the holders. Then there's also a reward for mining and witnessing the creation, but that's a bit too technical for this one. I won't go into detail with that. The cool part is that this system will reward you for being on social media. Like, imagine if Facebook would pay you money to create stuff instead of stealing your data, right? That would be pretty cool. Well, this is it. This does that, exactly. So let me give you a quick example of how this actually works, right? This was a post from a couple of weeks ago. So you can see people started voting for it, yeah? And it ended up at almost $1,000, okay? So I took a screenshot right before it was going to be paid out. So a payout happens 12 hours after you post. So people have 12 hours to vote for it. Now I know this says 23 hours. That's because they changed it up. It's still in beta. Lots of things are changing. So could be that half of what I'm saying now is bullshit by the end of the week. Anyway, that's just high-tech stuff, right? That's what happens. So as you can see here, 406 people voted for this post. Yeah. The reason that it's this high is because these 406 people are also Steem Power holders. So they have a lot of Steem Power. So if they vote for somebody, then they don't give them money, right? They say, like, this post is very interesting, I'm gonna reward them, yeah? And the reward is based on how much power you have. So people with a lot of power can actually influence the rewards much bigger than somebody who has no power. So what happened here, so this guy got 406 votes, almost $1,000, and then it gets paid out, right? And this question, I get this question a lot. So like, why does it drop almost $200 after the payout, right? Well, this is because, and this is also one of the cool parts of the system, only 75% of this reward is going to be paid out to the creator of the post. 25% of it actually gets back distributed to these people who vote for it. So I vote for somebody, I don't give them my money, I just say, well, this should be rewarded. And my vote is worth as much as my power is, right? But then actually, 25% of that gets distributed back to these voters. So if I vote for somebody, I get money. I get money for voting for somebody. And they get money as well. It's completely amazing, right? So this is what he was left with, $808, okay? Oh yeah, and the reason why it's not a perfect 75-25% split is because if you vote within the first 30 minutes of the post, then actually you're giving your entire reward to the owner of the post and you're not getting anything back. This is just to combat basically automated programs who vote automatically on everything and they want to stop that. So that's why they did that. It takes now you have to vote after half an hour. Although I'm sure there will be some new programs soon who vote after half an hour, but anyway. So now let's see how this reward is actually distributed, okay? Since this is blockchain technology, everything is visible, everything is open, everything is visible. I can actually go, the next slide is, I'll go into his wallet and I'll see how much he earns, and I'll see how much money he has. So this is the same guy, okay? Here, this is the reward he got for this post. So you can see the name of the post, right? Now he gets paid 404, right? The payout was 808. So he gets 50% paid out in Steem Dollars, and the rest of it is paid out in Steem Power. So you only end up with 50% that you can take out right away. Yeah? and the rest gets transferred into Steem Power, so they become investors all of a sudden. So if you post, you're not only getting money, you're also getting shares in the system. So in this example, he got 194 Steem Power, because Steem Power is worth the same amount as the Steem, as the gold, right? So the Steem was at this time was around $2. So you see, that's why it's not 404 but 195. This is also subject to the market prices, so sometimes these amounts shift according to how much the Steem is worth at that time. So only the Steem Dollar has a fixed rate. So that's why this as well. You can see this is how much money he has. No, this is actually whoa, sorry. No, this was how much money he made last week. So he made $2,500 in Steem Dollar, and he got almost 1,200 Steem Power in 1 week. Okay. So let's quickly recap before I lose all of you. So it's a decentralized social media platform that runs on blockchain technology, right? There is actually a cryptocurrency being generated and distributed to the actual users of the platform. At every single minute, it's being created and distributed to users. So you don't have to buy it. This is the cool part. And to create a stable currency, there are 3 different tokens of value. You have the Steem, compare it to gold, Steem Dollars, which is a promissory note just as the US dollar is, and Steem Power, which can be seen as shares in the system, right? And then your rewards are paid half in Steem Dollar and half in Steem Power, right? Now, what are these guys actually doing? They are actually combating every single questions you were asking, and you were asking why is not everybody adopting it, right? This is why these people created it, to make sure that we can get cryptocurrencies in the hands of non-technical people, like normal people, like not as freaks, right? Because it's not easy to get into cryptocurrencies. It's not easy. It's pretty hard. They might have the potential to change not only the financial system, but lots of systems we know. But adoption gets slowed because it's very technical, and you have some financial hurdles you have to pass before you can actually get in. If you want to buy Bitcoin, you need to sign up with an exchange. Then you have to send over proof of identity, like usually multiple amounts of proof, and then fund your account with a credit card or a wire transfer, and then only then you can buy Bitcoin. So that's not really good, right? So this is one of the reasons they created it, to enable cryptocurrency adoption across the world, and not just in the hands of the technical people, right? So that's one of the reasons. The other one is merchant adoption, because loads of merchants don't want to use Bitcoin. Why not? Because the price has gone from like less than $1 to $1,000, then back to $200, and now it's at 600. I mean, I sell stuff online. I don't take Bitcoin because I don't know what it will be worth the next day, right? Now, with this one, so merchants need a stable currency, right? So this could be the one that creates a stable currency for merchants. And plus, it's a social media platform, right? As we know how much social media gets adopted. So once it has a large user base, they will attract merchants automatically. So actually, the reason Steem is created is not to create just the newest social media network. They're actually bootstrapping a currency under the disguise of a social media network, and have mere mortals be able to get magic internet money, right? Oh yeah, and then that's also a big one though. It beats censorship. Why? Because it's blockchain. So every post that gets made is written down in the blockchain. Can never be changed, can never be deleted. It's there, and it's there to stay. Can't do anything about it. So everybody can say what they want. It cannot be censored. Nope, impossible. It's in the blockchain, right? So Steem is actually designed to become a self-policing ecosystem, because the people who invested the most have the most interest to make it work and to make sure it becomes successful, right? So that's actually the reason why they created this. For these reasons, to make sure that the revolution that was announced with Bitcoin actually happens, and that cryptocurrency will take over the world. We're getting close, but this is one of the systems that could facilitate it, right? Now, the future of Steemit, because we're still in beta, we're still in a very, very early phase, right? So loads of things are still subject to change, and the focus for them now is just to create stable currency and to massively increase the user base, mass adoption. That's what they're working for now. To give you an idea, we were at 30,000 users when I started a month ago. Well, we're at 55,000 now. That's a month. 25,000 users in a month. That's pretty cool, and it's not stopping. It's growing really, really fast. Now the second phase of it is actually to create marketplaces on top of this blockchain, on top of the social media platform. So that would mean that your I say hard-earned Steem dollars, they're not really hard-earned, but anyway, your Steem dollars, you can actually buy stuff with it from the same website. You will be able to buy things. So you won't need to change it to Bitcoin. That's the second phase. So you can buy things online through Steem dollars, right? The third phase would be side chains. Now, a side chain is actually a side chain allows the transfer of tokens across different blockchains. Now, what does this actually allow? Or let's make an analogy. You could see it like Facebook, right? And then you have Facebook apps, right? You could see that. It's very simply said. That's what a sidechain could be. We can actually, the possibilities are endless. You can build anything you want on top of it, right? So you could use, and that's the cool part about it. It's going to be a social media platform with a currency, and then there's still the possibility to create any kind of app or platform or whatever you want on top of that. Right? So this actually becomes an architecture for building a decentralized products and services, especially for Steem. Now the main thing to remember though is it's all about adoption. If nobody's going to use it, it's not going to work. Same as with Bitcoin, and that's why they created a social media platform, because everybody's on social media, right? And a social media platform that's going to pay you, well, I think people would love that. Well, they're already loving it, actually. So I think this might be one of the killer apps that dethrones Bitcoin by combining the best of crypto and social media in one single platform. Okay. So I'm going to start now how to use it, though, but it might be a good time if you have some questions about it, because this is a technical explanation about it. Now I will go into how the actual social media works. But if you have any questions about the currency itself, this might be the time. Before the,
because you say you can change or stuff, so if there are more users, your post can be lost for many.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how many times they figure out? Like,
well, for now it's 12 hours, right? If I post something, then 12 hours later it should be a payout, okay? But the timer actually increases if people vote for it. So because then the algorithm is so that it sees like, oh, this post seems to be successful, like people are loving it, so it will get extended. The payout time will get extended. And actually there's two payouts. So the first one was after 12 hours. After that one, 4 weeks later, so people have 4 weeks left after that to still vote for it, and then you'll get the second payout. After that, actually, I'm not even sure after that if you can still get a payout.
Yeah,
you asked this meet yesterday, I think. I still didn't check it. Anyway, so after 12 hours, but usually if your post picks up, it will get 16 or 18 hours. And after that, then there's 4 weeks left for people to vote for it, and you will get another payout.
But after that?
And after that, I forgot to check, sorry. Right, something else?
You sound really enthusiastic about it, and I'm feeling like you want to almost to sell for Steemit. So it's like the motivation, but what's the catch?
Okay, I have got no affiliation with this whatsoever. I created, no, but that's a very good question. Why I'm so enthusiastic about it is because I believe in this system. I think this system could change the world, right? Because it puts the power in the hands of the people. It puts money in the hands of the people. And there is no government control. There cannot be government control on it.
Well, that leads to the second part of the question, which is, yeah, there is no government control or anything, but who controls that, and where does the money come from? What's with the copyrights of what you write and what you post? Where does the money come from? It seems like it's... Yeah.
There we go. Well, yeah. So the money gets created by these miners, like the Bitcoin was. It gets created out of thin air, right? Just like US dollars, like every single currencies. They just print it. Same thing. You could compare it the same thing. The thing is, the money doesn't go to banks. The money doesn't go. It doesn't go to investors even. Well, yeah, it goes to investors, but the point is they can distribute this currency amongst people by doing this social media. Because that's one of the problems with cryptocurrencies. Like you say, you create this money out of thin air, right? Why would people use it? Huh? And how are you going to get it to these people? Right? That's a really big problem. That's one of the biggest problems with Bitcoin. So this is their solution to it. You create a social media platform that actually pays the people with the money that's created. Every single minute, 800 Steem gets created. Well, it gets divided amongst people just by doing these posts. It gets created out of thin air, absolutely. Yeah, but that's with every currency. It's like that. The problem is, how do you get people to use it, right? How do you get people to use? If you create a new currency, how do you get people to use it? It's not easy. You have to they have to find value in it, right? Just like Bitcoin was. That's why Bitcoin is still in the hands of all the technical people,
Well,
because they believe in it.
Bitcoin seems to be very different from the Steem. It's a complete different system.
They are
extremely different.
Technology is the same.
Yeah.
They're quite different.
It's because
it
seems like it's infinite source of money, right?
Yeah.
So things are only worth what people will pay for them.
Yeah.
Sorry, say it again.
Huh?
Say again.
Things are only worth what people will pay for them and what they'll pay for them in.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
All right. So we think of money a lot of times as this fixed pool of value, right? But if I went out and I created a statue, I added something new to the world, maybe someone will pay me money for it. But that's only if I sell it, right? But the world has still got new things in it. There's more value created, right? Like we didn't have computers 100 years ago. Obviously, the world is worth more in like an intrinsic way than 100 years ago. Where did that value come from? People made stuff that became valuable.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, value is subjective, right? Value is subjective.
Right. It's subjective.
It's what we put in. It's what we believe in. That's how Bitcoin got up to $600 because people believed in the system. It's exactly the same thing with this.
Same thing here. Like I put in money to this because when I put in money, I have power to push my posts and get content. I'm an artist, and if other people agree that me putting value into the system, like I've run art communities. That community, to make a nice example, I think you understand, right? I started an art community years ago when there was a bunch of people doing art by themselves, and everybody was competing over the same 10 fans who knew that this stuff existed. And I got everybody in the room and said, all right, we're going to work together to promote the system, not each other, but this collective of artists, and we're going to be having events, branded, and you can run your thing every weekend, whatever. And at the end of like a year, there were 700 people involved instead of 7. Well, where did that value come from? Space, right? Because all of a sudden we go from empty shows to new clubs that are completely packed every weekend. Value got created by everyone agreeing to work together and create something new and to work together to make it bigger. Because it was bigger, the experience was better for people to show up, right? Like it steamrolls itself. So it's the same idea as this, is that when people show up and they say, okay, there's this amazing ability for what I do to finally matter. It's not any different than Facebook, right?
No.
Facebook, there's no money given to me, only to Facebook. So if Facebook has value, this has value.
Yep.
Why? Because it's the same thing as Reddit or Facebook.
Yeah.
Only I'm a co-owner, right? Think of it as like a collective, right? Or a co-op. But it's a social network, co-op social network. So if social networks are valuable, this one's valuable. And if this one's valuable and we're all owners, then the money that we make, right, is really not being paid like a job, but paid as a shareholder. And then if you want to get the money out, you have to sell your shares, and that's exactly how it works.
Yeah. And actually, the comparison with Reddit is spot on because Reddit is just a platform where people can post their thoughts, right? Well, it's valued at $55 million. Where does that come from? Why? It's just a website where people post stuff. Well, it's worth $55 million, right? So where does that value come from? It's because people put the value in the system. They believe in it.
Because they went public. They're on the stock exchange.
Yeah, but why is it worth so much? Why do people buy? Why is it valued at $55 million, right?
Just like it's advertising revenue.
Oh, but their advertising revenue is pretty low. I mean, it's just because there's so many users posting so much content on there, and people find it valuable, and investors think, well, this must be worth a lot of stuff. Exactly the same thing.
Because people see the potential. That's
Yeah.
why people start buying the shares.
Yeah.
But here, I mean, what are you going to do with the content people are putting there? Are you going to be advertising them, using
No.
them for advertising?
No.
So where do you get the fund from? Like, again, Reddit money.
Because when you subscribe, you receive money, so the platform receives money by themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a cryptocurrency that gets created on top of it. That's the whole thing. And that's why you can't really compare it to Reddit, because this has a currency inherent in the system. And how do you spread a currency to people? You can't just give it away, right? So that's why they created this. To create a certain amount of value. So people have to be active in the system and create value, and then we'll get rewarded for it.
You say that if a shareholder want to opt out of it has to sell
Yeah.
for a certain
Yeah.
amount of time before
2
he
years.
gets his money
Yeah.
out. But where are you going to get the money to get to him? When
Well,
you wanna-
that's the thing. It's a cryptocurrency. There's no real money involved. It's crypto. It's just like Bitcoin is. It gets created out of thin air.
But if I want to opt out and get some money and go and buy a house,
Yeah, you can do
because
that.
you said I have like let's say $100,000 and I want to buy real things.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get the money to?
Well, people buy this. The value of this is based on people buying Steem on exchanges, just like Bitcoin is. People buy it constantly all the time. So you just sell it to people who want to buy it. That's where it gets. And then you get Bitcoin, and then you can buy a house. Right? Okay.
It's with Bitcoin, not real.
Well,
Dollars.
yeah, because Bitcoin is the same as you can exchange your Bitcoins for dollars then, right? And we're still in a beta phase, so I'm thinking it's not going to take long until we can exchange our Steem dollars straight for dollars. But we're still in the beginning.
Let's even say that I have $1,000 worth of. And I want to buy a plane ticket.
Yeah, no
I'm
worries.
a digital nomad. I want to buy a
Yeah.
plane ticket.
Yeah,
And I really need some real money to
yeah,
pay for a flight.
yeah.
Where do I get the money from?
Well, then there's exchanges. Basically, then you have to shift your money to an exchange where you can sell it, and then you get the money out.
Oh, okay. Then
Right.
you send the money probably to my real bank account.
Yeah, and then you can send it to your real bank account, and then you can buy first things. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
You have to start. You have to put money in the system to start.
No. You actually don't have to put money in the system. If you create an account, they give you $10.
So boots can.
7 now, right?
Oh, wow.
Boots and robots can go in the system and.
Yep.
So
Yep.
someone will find how to make money of just a boot.
Yeah, people are trying to do that, but it's a self-policing system. Like I said, like people who are invested in it, there is a system in place that will that will make you. There is a downvoting system in place, so you can actually flag accounts that do stuff you don't agree with. Yeah, and people who are invested in it, they don't want this thing to happen because that could crash it, right?
So it's how
So
you administrate the thing with the negative.
yeah, and that's just the users who do it.
Objective of the system.
Yeah. Well, actually, this fits in perfectly with this one here. These are the current accounts. This is from a week ago, 51,000. Now, so you can see from the 51,000, 43,000 accounts have are worth around $5, and only not 0.1% of the accounts own 64% of all the money. So this is just like in real life, right? This is one of the main problems right now. So there's 50,000 in existence, 90% is worth less than $50. So 10% of the current users have all the power, right? So this is one of the big problems at this time. These guys who own all the money, they try to spread it out to the normal user base, but we're still in a.
Boots won't have power.
Hmm?
So anyway, boots won't have power.
Yeah, that's the thing. So because these people who are invested, just like me as well, I'm invested. I don't want these things to happen, so I would downvote them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
explain this. When you downvote, do you take the money from the people?
Yeah, you take the reward away.
Take
Yeah.
the rewards?
Yeah. So there's been posts that made a couple of $1,000, and then they saw that was actually a thief of an identity thief. So actually, I'm gonna show you in a bit. And then people started. I spotted it actually, and I called this person out. So well, this is not you. You're a thief of this identity, because the real person said it wasn't her. And they went from like 2,000-3,000 to 0 in an hour. Done. No money for you because you're a cheater. And that's what I said about the self-policing system. The users are all invested. The users are the shareholders. So it's in their best interest to keep it honest. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's about it. No, and that's why this is still a problem right now, because only these guys have the power to really influence the rewards. Only these two rankings, right? I'm just like in between those two, so I don't have a lot of power, to be honest. Yeah, I'm almost a hero. Almost, very close. I think I am actually now.
What happens if in 2 years or 3 years, okay, you guys you get an offer that you have to go to the stock exchange and somebody wants to buy you up, buy Steemit for maybe, I don't know how much. And
It cannot be bought, basically, because people have to sell it first. And if nobody wants to sell it, because everybody is a shareholder, right?
yeah.
So there is not one.
There's a majority of
You-
people.
It's different. Sorry, it's different being a shareholder and having power. Yeah, you have power.
No, yeah, that's it. That's the same thing.
The real power is not the fact that I have 0.1% or something. It's the amount of percentage that you have. It's like the legends have. They have 64%.
Uh-huh.
They obviously are the main decision, whereas a dust guy who's not 0.1%. So
He cannot make a decision, which is just the same as in a real company, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's comparable to shares.
Which means that if they decide to just go to the stock market and sell the company, and they get back into the system, then
They could actually do that. They could sell all their shares, yeah, and then somebody new has a legend accounts, yeah, that can happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think there will be a middle class? Like, what is the trend?
Yeah, there is definitely a middle class starting. I'm like one of these guys. We're growing really rapidly. When I got in, it was way worse. They were at 80%, and everybody was here. So now there's already 4 and 7 and 1% here. So it is slowly, yeah. And that's one of the requirements for it to work. We can't have all the power in the hands of like 10%. I know it's like that in the world, but that's what they try to avoid, right? But that's why we're still in beta, and it's still, right? So people are now actually making money on it by posting. So these will be the new big shareholders. Because who are these guys? Those are actually the creators, right? The developers.
you don't even know their names.
Yeah, we know their names. Yeah, they're open and stuff. You can just download the white paper. They're in there. Yeah.
You can name them. What would you give us their name?
You want their name? Dan Larimer, Michael Vanderberg, and some net guy. I don't know. Can't remember his name. It's all there. You can just download the white paper. It's all in there. It's all open.
The founders, that's
Okay, so let me show you a quick example of what I was talking about.
Live streams when you post on Steemit, it's more like it's more make the design and stuff.
What do you mean?
When you make your post,
Yeah.
I saw when you did, it's like more like WordPress than
Yeah. It's more like a blog almost than it's. That's why it's like Reddit. Reddit is exactly the same. It's based on that actually. So let me show you quick. This is my account, right? And I was going to show you the. Wait, no, where can I find it again? Oh yeah.
We are streaming live in Steam.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're streaming live here. This I just posted. We got 30 cents for it. It's not too bad. Hey! We can almost drink a beer of it, which is quite nice. But like the one that was cheating, right? This is a very good example. So let me just find this quickly. It's sometimes pretty hard to find accounts. It's not an ideal system at this moment. There's still some. Here we are. Fully raw Christina. This is such a funny one. So this was basically an identity thief. This account, Fully Raw Christina, it's like a YouTube star, like 1 million followers, a huge site. She's a proper internet celebrity, right? So she came on there and started making a shitload of money. Like people are like, wow, yeah, this is great, and they were paying her. But she never confirmed herself, her identity. So we were a bit skeptical, like, what's happening here, okay? So we kept calling around, like, why don't you prove that it's you? Just post on your Facebook wall or make a video on YouTube, it's your account, right? So she never did that. And then it's really funny, and she created this post. It's like, oh man, Steemit is trolls and they don't want my content here. And an entire rant, basically, very well written, by the way, about how we're all horrible people on Steemit and we don't like women and stuff. Okay, so what I posted here is I contacted this actual Facebook account, and this is what the actual Facebook account sent back to me. It's like, nope, that's definitely not me. So this is where, okay, so please explain this, right? That was the last post she ever made. So she was called out. It's like, okay, everybody knows she's an identity thief. All her money got taken away. And then you can see that.
You got $2.66.
Oh right, yeah. Somebody really liked that I did that, so I got $2 for that. Yeah.
Policeman is,
Oh yeah, I'm a bit of a policeman on there. Yeah. But you see, this is why it's a self-policing system. I want this system to work because I'm invested in it. So I check this stuff, right? I go check like, is this real or is this just a scammer, right? And there's multiple people who are doing this just to make sure. It doesn't get a haven for scammers and hackers and thieves and liars, right? That's why it's a self-policing system. So this actually works. This probably man, I don't think it was a girl, got called out, and she here on the top, you see this? She got flagged 9 times by most of the big guys, like big investors, and that was the last post she'd ever made. So that's what I want to show you about the self-policing system. And that's what I find so cool about it, because the users themselves can actually decide on whether to reward people who are lying or not, and well, obviously we don't, right?
So what's with the flag? Because I've noticed that the flags are normally empty. That one's obviously red. But
Oh no, it's red because I flagged it as well.
yeah, what's that flagging system like? How is that?
So this is basically downvoting, right? So it's like it says, it removes the rewards and it makes the material less visible. As you can see here, this is pretty cool on her account because it got flagged. You see, these are grayed out and they would not show up in the normal feed. So she can keep posting now. He can probably keep trying posting, but none of the posts are going to show up because they got called out as a scammer, right? And that's when the reputation system comes into play. See this 5? That's one of the lowest reputations you can get. There's a score from, I think, 0 to 80. And if you see mine, I'm up to 59. So that's a very good reputation. So nobody thinks I'm a scammer. Okay, I got some flags here. That's because people didn't like what I say. I attacked religion a bit here. So it made me a lot of money though. So that's pretty cool. But of course, there were some people who are not very happy with me saying that stuff, right? But that's okay. That's
How did you know that she was not confirming as real personality?
because we asked her to confirm. Like if somebody starts posting on there and they're claiming to be a celebrity, well then we say, well, okay, prove that it's you, right? And you can prove this. Well, if you own a YouTube channel with a million followers, and it's not hard to post up a little video and just saying, yep, I'm on Steemit, right here, you can see me, this is my account. It's really easy to do. Even just a little piece of paper with a picture, done. And we kept asking her or him, never responded. And that's why I got into contact with a real account, and then we were confirmed that that was a lie, right? And so that's when the reputation system comes into place, because they didn't have it before, and they started having a big problem with identity thieves. And that's when they implemented the reputation system. So if you're above, well, they changed it. Normally it was from -8 to 8, and now it's from 80 to, I think, 5 or 0. Anyway, you start out with an account on 25. And if people vote for you, then your reputation will go up. So normally you will always have a good reputation unless you post really bad things or you lie and you're a cheater and stuff, okay? So this is pretty cool to get your head around the currency again. So everybody can see that I'm not just showing this. You can actually go in there and see my wallet, see how much I have. Everybody's open to everybody. See, I have 0 Steem. Why? Because it's 100% inflation rate. You don't want Steem, right? Okay. This is something you can use to trade or to power up, but you don't really want it in your account. So this should always be 0. Now, what can you do with it? Is
it automatic or you transfer it to something?
No, because you don't get paid in Steem. You get paid in Steem Dollar and Steem Power. Normally, you don't really need Steem unless you want to power up. Okay, unless you want to transfer your Steem Dollars into Steem Power, that means you first have to put it into Steem. Don't ask me why exactly. I thought it would be easier if they just allow this from Steem Dollar as well, but they don't. Okay. So what can you do? You can transfer it to anybody else that you want without any fee, just free. You can power up, which means you will transfer your Steem into Steem Power. You can buy some Steem with Bitcoins, or you can buy or sell on the internal market.
What we do, so the metaphor of gold being Steem.
Yeah.
Gold as an inflation rate.
No, obviously. I'm using the metaphor for gold because of the promissory notes and the... Yeah. That's the best. You don't want Steem in your account because it has a 100% inflation rate. So in theory, it should halve in value every single year. Now it's not really doing that right now, but that's the supply and demand, right? So you can't really predict what the market's going to do. So this is the Steem Power. I have quite a lot. This makes me... I have a bigger influence to influence the rewards, right? And the only thing you can do with that is just power down, and then you would get it down into 104 payments again. And as you can see, you can't transfer this Steem to anybody. And then the last one is basically the Steem. Whoa, proper storm coming. Yep.
Is it open source?
Yep, completely open source.
Share your story.
The last thing I want to tell you basically is just what constitutes good content. Okay, at this moment it's very subjective because the people who are in there are all technical-minded people at this moment. So what gets rewarded? People who create apps for it, who create like developers who create stuff for it, new websites that get created for it. Those are the posts that do really well. You can see right away. It would load. There we are. So, for example, why is this doing well? First of all, it's like an internet celebrity. Bit of an asshole, but anyway. Oh shit, it's being taped. Okay. This, for example, right? Steem DNS, that's what I said, like this incorporating different technical systems on the blockchain. Now, it's not only that. There's also a lot of potheads on there, basically. So a lot of posts about marijuana do really well for some reason. And then artists. It's one of the most perfect system for artists. Writers, for example. There's this one guy who actually got published after 3 weeks of being on there. 3 weeks of posting stuff on social media, and he got a book published. That's just so awesome, right? And how does he do that? He just posts like one chapter, next post another chapter, next post another chapter. And people love this, like, because artists can get paid right away.
It was my question. What about like sex publicity and stupid posts about boobs and just to have like traffic and stuff?
Well, that's the whole thing about the system, though. We don't know at this point. We don't know. I could see that doing actually very well, like webcam girls or stuff. Yeah, I think that's gonna happen. I think that's gonna happen. But it might not be on this website, because that's one of the things to remember. This Steemit is only a website. The stuff behind it is a decentralized blockchain, just like Bitcoin is. So you could create a new website only for example, adult posts. It's based on the same system behind it. So I think and it's a self-policing system, so there's no rules. See? So it's at this moment it's pretty uncertain what will do well and what's doing. Well, we know what's doing well right now is photography is doing really well, and then everything about the platform itself, and also about anarchism and mathematics. Like there's lots of geeks and nerds on there, right? So stuff they like do well right now. But this should all change in the future. If more people get adopted, then it should change. Right, that's about it. Got some questions? If I can hear them.
Do you have like the rule of the post? Example, how many posts you can post a day?
That's actually a very, very good question. There is a rule about that. Because they don't want people to spam, right? So after 4 posts in 24 hours, your rewards will drop dramatically. So actually, they say no more than 4 a day. Yeah. But you can post whatever you want. I mean, people post stupid stuff all the time. They just don't get rewarded for it.
The actual account will read the post and then they will reward it.
Yeah.
Will it become the next Silk Road?
No, I don't see why it would become Silk Road, because people are not actually, you're not giving your own money away. If I vote for this, I'm not giving my money away. I'm just saying, I'm giving you a reward according to how much my share is worth. Right? Yeah, okay, this won't work anymore, I think. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to do that. I think we should all have a beer right now. Oh, one thing. There are some t-shirts left. If anybody wants a t-shirt, there's like a couple left. There's one left for that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so guys, we're stopping the live stream because it's storming very heavily right now. I hope you liked it. Cheers.